Can you poop out fat in just a couple of days? Let me begin by saying something that sounds a little insane. Your body might actually be trying to poop out inflammatory fats every single morning, but your body keeps reabsorbing it instead. Not because you're lazy, not because you're aging, not something that you just have to deal with, but simply because the system that eliminates fats and toxins isn't moving properly, and it only takes small shifts to change that. When that system is slowing down, something really interesting happens inside the body. Your body literally recycles inflammatory fats back into your bloodstream, which can show up as stubborn belly fat, brain fog, fatigue, hormonal issues, and weight gain that seriously won't budge no matter how healthy you eat or how much you're working out. So if you're a woman in your 40s or beyond and you're listening to this thinking, okay, this sounds like me, well, you're not crazy. And it's likely not your calories, and it's definitely not your workouts. What it actually is your bile flow. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Your liver is the be all end all of your metabolism. And almost nobody talks about it. One of the things I explain to women all the time when we start working together is that your body is constantly trying to protect you. Your liver works 24 hours a day. It processes hormones, toxins, chemicals, inflammatory fats, cholesterol, basically anything circulating through your system gets processed by your liver. And once your liver processes those things, it packages them into something called bile. Now, most people think of bile as something that helps digest fat, but bile is actually one of the primary ways your body eliminates metabolic waste. Think of bile like a garbage truck leaving your liver. It carries away hormone metabolites, toxins, oxidized fat, cholesterol waste, environmental chemicals, all of the things your body has decided it no longer wants circulating. Your liver sends that bile down the digestive tract so that it can leave your body. But here's where the story gets interesting. Your body actually recycles most of that bile, up to 95% of it, actually. There's even a name for it. It's called the enterohepatic circulation system. Basically, your body releases bile into your intestines, and then a huge portion of it gets absorbed back into circulation and returned to the liver. So if there's anything that's not being eliminated through your poop, that gets recirculated into your system, and that's when we see the symptoms happen. So if your digestion is sluggish or your motility is slow, so if you're constipated, and believe it or not, most women that I talk to, even if they've had a bowel movement every single day, they are actually constipated. One bowel movement a day isn't enough to be eliminating all of the toxins that we are exposed to every single day. Not to mention, if your motility is too fast, then we're going to have the opposite problem. We're not actually going to be able to absorb any of the nutrients from our food and allow the things that need to be in our body to stay in our body for longer. So either way, slow motility or way too fast motility is going to be a problem here. When that happens, your bile becomes thick and stagnant, and the body ends up reabsorbing toxins it just tried to eliminate. Your body is literally sending waste out and then pulls it right back in again. This is a problem because it means inflammatory fats, toxins can end up circulating through the system again instead of leaving the body. And when that happens, metabolism slows way down. Inflammation increases, hormones become harder to regulate, and this becomes especially important for you as a woman over the age of 40 because several things begin to change, as you know. Your detox pathways slow just a little bit. Your gut motility slows, your estrogen metabolism changes, but most importantly, your toxic load that you have accumulated over 4 or more decades begins to uncover the symptoms you feel in perimenopause. Think about that. Everything the body has been exposed to over 4 or more decades, plastics, pesticides, cosmetics, alcohol, medications, heavy metals, seed oils, ultra-processed foods, environmental chemicals, your chemicals. Your body is incredibly smart. When it can't safely eliminate toxins, it stores them in your fat tissue. Fat is actually protective. It's a protective storage container. It's safer to store toxins there than let them be circulating in your bloodstream, hitting all of your organs. But here's the challenge. When your body metabolizes fat, when your body mobilizes fat, those toxins need somewhere to go. And one of the main exit routes is bile. So again, if bile flow is sluggish, that waste doesn't leave very efficiently. And your body will often hold on to fat because releasing it would release toxins faster into your bloodstream than you can eliminate, which is one of the reasons why so many women, just like you, tell me every single day, I eat healthy, I exercise, I do all of the right things, and I still cannot lose the weight. And one of those things we uncover over and over again when we start digging deeper is sluggish bile flow. Honestly, I would say close to 99% of the women I work with every single day show signs of sluggish bile when we really start to look at the bigger picture of why they can't lose weight. Not because bile controls calories, not because calories are the be all end all of weight loss, but because bile controls elimination. If the body cannot eliminate hormone metabolites, inflammatory fats, environmental toxins efficiently, metabolism slows down as a protective response because the body will always choose safety over fat loss. And when bile flow is sluggish, the body tends to send signals. Women will often say things to me that food just sits in their stomachs, so slow digestion. They're not really hungry. They don't wake up hungry. They feel bloated after every meal, even when eating healthy. Fatty foods feel heavy. Digestion feels slow. Sometimes bowel movements are irregular, or you're not having a complete emptying bowel movement. And then the biggest one, of course, is that stubborn belly fat just won't budge like it did in your 20s. But the thing is, in your 20s, you didn't have this accumulation of toxic load in your body and your bile was still moving freely. Now it's sluggish, it's stagnant, it is sludgy, and things are starting to recirculate. So your body is no longer feeling safe. Therefore, it will not focus on fat loss. Hormone symptoms, perimenopause symptoms can show up so strongly when this is the issue. Fatigue after eating is another big one. All of these clues that digestion and elimination might not be moving efficiently. And remember, bile isn't just about digestion. It's one of the body's main detox highways. Get that into your brain. It is the body's main detox highway. When that highway slows down, everything backs up. Quick pause here. If you're listening to this and thinking, okay, this sounds like me, this sounds like it might be actually happening to my body, I created a free metabolism quiz that helps you figure out what might actually be slowing down your metabolism. Because metabolism is not just about calories. It's about things like detox capacity, gut health, mineral balance, and hormone metabolism. The quiz takes about 2 minutes and helps you identify where your biggest metabolic bottlenecks are. I'll make sure the link is in the show notes. Because one of the most powerful natural stimulators of bile flow is something many people drink every single morning. Can you guess what it is? It's coffee. Coffee is bitter, and bitter compounds stimulate a digestive hormone called CCK, and that hormone tells the gallbladder to contract and release bile into your intestines, which is one reason so many people feel the urge to go to the bathroom shortly after their morning coffee. That's not random. That is bile being released into your intestines. And when bile moves, the body has a much better chance of eliminating metabolic waste. But there's one thing that's often overlooked. It's the quality of your coffee that really matters. Coffee is one of the most pesticide-heavy crops in the world. Cheap coffee often contains pesticide residues and mold toxins called mycotoxins. Those compounds actually stress the body and stress the liver. And a stressed liver produces sluggish bile, which means the very thing that could help stimulate detoxification in your body can also slow it down depending on the quality you're actually consuming. This is why I always recommend organic coffee whenever possible. The other piece to this is that you are not supposed to be having your coffee full of sugar and syrups. Black coffee is where it needs to be. We don't need the creamers, the syrups, the lattes, all of that. Simple, clean coffee can actually be a really helpful tool for supporting bile flow and digestion. And then there's another strategy that gets talked about quite a bit in functional medicine. I talk about it quite a bit because it is life-changing. Coffee enemas. Now, before you panic, because it's weird, coffee enemas have actually been used in integrative medicine detox for decades. They stimulate liver detox pathways and increase glutathione production, which is one of the body's most important antioxidants. They also stimulate bile flow directly through liver reflexes in the colon. When used properly, they can support toxin elimination, hormone detox, and reduce inflammatory load in the body. Like I said, they are life-changing. They are not just some internet trend or detox idea quick fix. It's actually been used clinically for years. So what can someone start doing right now if they want to support better bile flow process? First, let's think hydration. Dehydration thickens bile, and thick bile doesn't flow. So starting your morning with water, I like to add a little lemon and salt, but doing it before you have your coffee can make a huge difference in how digestion and bile flow begin moving for the day. Second, bitter foods. Start adding them to your day before every meal. Things like lemon, arugula, ginger, and other bitter compounds stimulate the bile release as well. Your digestive system is designed to respond to those signals. And third, movement. The lymphatic system, which is another major detox pathway, only moves when the body moves. Even a short walk in the morning helps stimulate digestion, circulation, and detox pathways. Sometimes the simplest things make the biggest difference. The biggest takeaway I want you to remember from this episode is this: fat loss is not just about burning calories. Your body also has to eliminate waste efficiently. And bile is one of the main ways it does that. When bile flows well, digestion improves, hormones detox more efficiently, inflammation decreases, and metabolism starts to rev up. But when bile becomes sluggish, the body can literally recycle the fat and toxins it's trying to eliminate, which is one of the most overlooked drivers of midlife weight gain. If this episode has helped you see metabolism in a new way, please make sure you follow the podcast and you don't miss future episodes. And I would genuinely love to hear from you. Leave me a comment, send me an email, send me a message, and tell me, what health topic do you want me to break down next? Because the more questions you ask, the better we get at connecting the dots behind your health. I'll see you in the next episode.